Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Welcome to Spirit of Islam. I am your host, Ashraf Zaghloul. And today, inshallah, we'll talk about the elections in Turkey. And the reason it attracted me is I was watching the news, and in the news they showed maybe 100,000, 200,000, and some said it's 1 million people going out saying they don't want an Islamic government, which surprised me as Muslims. Why are Muslims going out in the street to say we don't want an Islamic government? And if we look back why this election was held from the first place, because the party had proposed the president and his wife wears a scarf. Why does the scarf scare so many people? Even though she's a practicing Muslim, why does it scare? That's what we're going to talk today, inshallah. I'd like to introduce my host, my guest, Shahid Akhtar. Assalamu alaikum, Shahid. What's your feeling? Why are we seeing this?
Well, Ashraf, the way I see it, Turkey has enjoyed a unique position among Muslim countries,
yes,
with its experience of secularism and democracy.
Yes.
After 9/11, like everything else, many things changed, particularly in the Muslim countries as well.
Yeah.
When elections took place in Turkey, people were afraid that, having seen what they have seen in some other Muslim countries, they were afraid that the same history may be repeated, as in Afghanistan, as in Iraq, as in Pakistan, as in many other countries, where...
Do we really think in all these countries it was a true presentation of an Islamic government?
No.
And maybe we have to highlight to our viewer that none of them is a true presentation of how an Islamic government should be.
That doesn't even come in the equation. What comes in the equation is that in Turkey, elections took place and there was suddenly an Islamophobia for some time in Turkey, because people were afraid that there is a government coming in which, quote unquote, is an Islamist government.
But they've had this government for a while, and life is as usual.
That slogan of Islamism, that has acquired a life of its own to a point where it has become a degrading and almost an accusatory, with a stigma attached to it. The moment you apply that word Islamist, suddenly the images of Taliban and all that, they come to mind. In Turkey, there was absolutely not only no such fear, because for 5 years, this party has been in power.
Yes.
And they have shown that although their roots were in religion at one time, but they have displayed that they came in as respectful of the secular nature of the constitution. They have maintained that secular nature. Being a devout Muslim or not being a devout Muslim, that is not the issue. But the issue is that in media, it was taken internationally, in the international media particularly, it was taken as if there is real fear that there's a dynamo kind of an impact, and Turkey will be the next country to fall to Islam.
Let's stop here, and you say they respected the secular nature of the country. But why don't we say Islam respects everybody? In any true Islamic government, you respect everybody. Yes, even if you apply the Islamic laws, you have to respect non-Muslims or Muslims who has different beliefs, rather than... So maybe this is the true spirit of Islam.
Well, I think so far as the true spirit of Islam is concerned, you started with your remark with an if, that if it is applied. It's such a big if that we can no longer just say that because Islam says, therefore you can apply this principle, you actually have to apply that principle. And I agree with you totally that most or perhaps all governments which claim that they are Islamic governments, they are the first to defy all those principles that you are saying, that if they applied this. In Turkey, what has happened, that it has actually created facts on the grounds that there is, relatively speaking, greater democracy in Turkey than almost in any other Muslim country. There is freedom of expression, relatively speaking. In that country, there are 300 TV channels. There are 1,100 radio stations. And they have, regardless of what party came into power, they were military is sometimes regarded as the biggest political party in Turkey.
Yeah.
Because any time the military has seen that there is a danger, the secular nature of the constitution,
danger of a shift.
So they have always threatened twice.
Yes.
They have actually taken over.
But isn't that sad that in a democracy you find the military still trying to enforce their views rather than leave the people express themselves?
But well, yes, but here's an interesting point. And I'll just turn your remark sort of on its head and say this. Any time in a non-democratic country, if army decided to intervene, it had long spells of governance, almost irreversibly the democracy was dead. There are very few countries where perhaps circumstances do not allow for a flourishing democracy, but military could not intervene on a permanent basis because there was democracy. India and Turkey. There have been circumstances in both countries which perhaps would have invited army very easily. But despite all that, it did not take place because the nature of the political system was democratic. This is what happened in Turkey twice.
Why don't we step back and say, okay, as we read in the paper, what triggered this election was the proposed president, his wife would have a scarf.
That's right.
Why in people's mind, why does it scare so many people that the wife of the president is wearing a scarf?
Okay, again, the political reality. Democracy is not necessarily the most rational, the most logical system. But like other people have said, that this is because others are much worse than that. Even if people thought, whatever the reason was, maybe the media, maybe the public opinion, maybe the secular nature of since Kemal Atatürk's days, that they felt secure in their secularism and they did not want anything to do with seeing how the practitioners of Islam had behaved in other countries, whatever the reason. The fact is, because there was this democracy, people voted and they said, no, we do not have any such fear from this party, which was quote unquote accused of being Islamist, but actual fact, it proved that there were more important things than hijab, than niqab. There was the issue of education. There was the issue of getting into European Union. There were issues of the entire economy, joining IMF.
But this is one of the important things where it surprises me that the European Union is not accepting Turkey.
No.
Or it's taking its time or putting too many conditions, whatever the word is. The idea is they've accepted a lot of East European countries quickly, and yet Turkey has been 10 years or something negotiating, which I say it's the best bridge between the two worlds, if you may say. And the European Union is not taking this chance or not, which I think would have been a very positive step to show religions has nothing to do with it. Let's take them. What's your take on this?
Oh, I think you're totally right. The only thing is that understand also that no one is being fooled anymore, or for that matter, no one has ever been fooled. Why is it that Turkey has not been invited to join European Union? It has to do with Turkey being a Muslim country. This has been made so obvious on so many occasions. But the fact is that if Turkey is accepted in European Union, what will happen is that they can have a reverse dynamo in a way that Muslim countries will become more active, respectable parts of the international community, rather than international community isolating one Muslim country after another country. And same thing about the military. There have been incidents where democracy did take place. They elected a government which was not liked by certain powers. Military intervened, and military was supported to crush that democratic movement.